Hello and welcome back to the Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP 2019 season. We're back at Okayama for the VGP1 races after the thrilling, absolutely thrilling VGP2 races that saw Pavel Reigl pick up 2 victories in the Acer car. My name is Justin Sutton and I am, of course, joined by Chris Buxton.
It is time for the VGP1s, the big guns, to see off this amazing car. It's given us such amazing moments throughout this season. There is the standings as they currently stand. Smidl once again enjoying a lead up front from Stefanko, Polesny on the third spot, and then Blasek and Sikora still, and Hlebets as well, in a pretty decent battle for 4, 5 and 6. The team standings, as we saw at the end of the VGP1 race, Acer with a pretty comfortable lead now, or comparatively comfortable to what we've seen all season long. Logitech in 2, Benzina still fending off RPS and Forza that are locked in a very, very close battle, along with Predator once again for 4, 5, 6.
So just to remind everybody, this 13-corner circuit, 3.7 kilometers, 2 victories for Pavel Reigl. Are we going to see 2 victories for the same person here today in VGP1? 42 degrees track temperature, clear weather. VGP1 driver of the day for Donington Park was actually Michael Smidl, your current championship leader. And Chris, take us through the qualifying.
Oh, 1/1000th of a second, Hlebets! Oh my goodness me, is Smidl going to have some work to do today? That'll be interesting to see. Then Stefanko 3/10 back, Blasek and Polesny rounding out the top 5. Oh, 1/1000th! Absolutely brilliant effort from Hlebets and the Smarty car. Well, if that's anything to go by, if VGP1's get taught us anything, we're in for a cracker. And again, more people going for the soft tyres in this race.
Yeah, seeing 3 drivers on the softs, Smidl, Blasek, and Sikora bringing up the rear on the soft tires. So Sikora clearly in the RPS car looking to make up positions on the softer compounds, but we're not seeing any hard tires, which makes me think once again that that was an accident in VGP2 that we saw the hard tires on the Logitech car. But we're preparing to go racing from Okayama. It's lights out and the cars are away. Lots of wheel spin. You can see the Avast car already looking to make some moves up the inside. Hlebets does hold on to the race lead ahead of Michael Smidl, and then we've got Stefanko and Blasek right behind. Blasek actually looking like he wants to make his way past Stefanko, and it looks like he's actually done that. Blasek on ahead of Stefanko there. Yeah. Very nicely done by the Legion driver, as some more side-by-side action going on at the back. The Forza car of Kostulik, the back end just stepping out ever so slightly there. Stefanko going on the attack on the Legion car, dipping his wheels into the grass, into the braking zone, into the gravel. Oh no! The Benzina driver is off. That is not what he wanted to see. He's going to lose loads of positions. He's dropped behind the Acer car of Polesny. He's down into P9 or P8, I think now. Unbelievable. That's really got to hurt for Stefanko. He's maybe going to be hoping for a race to pole position with the reverse grid possibly. But here we go. Some more side-by-side battlings into this hairpin for the first time in this short race. And it looks like Lucas Pichata thinking about possibly doing something with Stefanko up ahead. But in the end, thinking better of that. Oh, and that's the Spurt car very wide. Yep, that is Thomas Prohaska. He's going to lose a position to Polesny, and also Stefanko. He may lose another one to the Thrustmaster car of Pichata as well too, as they make their way down into Redmond for the first time. And here we go, the battle for the lead, and he's done it. Smidl has done it. He makes the move on Hlebets and takes the lead on the first lap. I can't believe that one, Chris.
That was very literally out of nowhere. I think that caught Hlebets by surprise. It certainly caught me by surprise. What an amazing move by our champion, our multiple champion, and indeed championship leader, but still feels the need to defend that inside line, even though he's got himself about a good 0.6 of a second already. He felt the need to defend that inside line. He wasn't confident in Hlebets not being able to throw that one on the inside, but we've seen some amazing performances from the Smarty car, so I don't doubt the sincerity of that. But yes, Stefanko making a mistake on the opening lap, that just makes it so much more painful for him in the Benzina car, now down in 7th, starting in 3rd. But there was a considerable gap compared to what we normally see between Hlebets and Smidl, and Stefanko is nearly 0.3 of a second from qualifying alone. That's very telling. We're not used to seeing that kind of a gap. We're also not used to seeing somebody other than Stefanko really make Smidl work for it. So already the Predator car back up into the lead. We're looking at Bachada, or the second Bachada brother in the first master car, trying to make his way back through the field, not able to do so yet, but there is Klebitz still staring at the back of the Predator car. Can he regain the lead? But we will see. But Smiddle, with those softer tyres, I think is going to be, he's hard enough when they're all on the same tyre, let alone when Smiddle's got the softer one. But we will see. We saw how the soft tyres seem to degrade in the VGP2 sprint race. And, you know, Smiddle's pushing that hard. He may well burn the best out of those tyres before the checkered flag falls.
Yeah, he is going to absolutely be pushing very hard, though, in order to build the gap as much as he can before those tires start to fall off and the mediums become the quicker tire later on in the race. So he's going to make hay while the sun shines and get the best out of those soft tires in the early stages of this race. And he's already built up a 1 second gap down to Klebitz, who has a similar gap down to Blazek, actually. Blazek was who was defending the position from Stefanko when that incident happened for the Benzina driver. And unfortunately, the angle that we had on that was a bit of an awkward one. You know, we had cars in the way, and it made it difficult for us to kind of judge and see what exactly was going on there. But knowing Blazek, he was probably defending pretty fiercely. So, and unfortunately for Stefanko, it just did not work out. He got into the grass, got into the gravel, he didn't lose too much time, because of course to have that kind of incident on the opening lap and not drop all the way down to last position means that he's actually done a pretty good job just to keep it in the sort of midfield fight. So far he hasn't really been able to make up too many positions lately, though. He managed to get up into 7th position. However, he seems to be struggling when it comes to Polesny in the Acer car up ahead, and we've seen Polesny at times can be very, very quick. He can absolutely be a podium finisher, challenging for second, that kind of stuff. So a bit strange to see the Acer car down in 6th position at the moment, and I'm sure Stefanko, there's other drivers that he would prefer to have to pass right now rather than Polesny. But just over 15 minutes remaining in this first short race. Again, of course, it is reverse grid for the second race for the top 6. So as it stands right now, Smiddle will be starting in 6th position. And as we cast our minds back to Macau, that really did cause some serious problems for Smiddle, didn't it, Chris, when he had to start further down the field and make those overtakes?
Absolutely, and he didn't help his case when he ended up with an on-track penalty when he spanned someone in that really, really tight hairpin and ended up dragging them along the road for a few feet. So that really did hammer home how difficult that race was for Michael Smiddle, but I have no doubt he is going to make the best of the opportunity that presents itself. Of course, very, very different circuit. The walls aren't anywhere near as close as they are in Macau. They're not that far away, but they're certainly not, the walls literally greet you before you've even taken an apex. So at Macau, so you know, very different feeling of the circuit. There is a little bit of room for error, as Stefanko's already demonstrated. As we see the Acer car then being challenged by the Benzina driver. It's interesting to see that the pace is really, really similar. The gaps aren't changing a great deal lap on lap. The Acer car really heavily defending the inside of the hairpin. And that kind of tells me that everybody is pushing like crazy. Everybody's got their foot nailed to the floor. There's no moderation. There's no thinking about, oh, I have to manage this, as you would expect in the sprint race, of course. But those that are on the soft side may have to think about that a little bit more than the medium runners, which, of course, it only would affect Smiddle, Blazek, and Sikora. And we know how good Blazek is at defending. We mentioned that once or twice before. But Klebitz, bearing in mind that he's on that harder tyres, kind of hovering around 1.5 seconds behind Smiddle at the moment. That's a pretty decent run for him. But Stefanko is staring at the back of Polesny once again. He's a little bit early on the brakes coming into that final turn. He wants to drive on the exit. It hasn't quite paid off for him. And there is almost the entire field in that one shot. So no big gap. The biggest gap we've got is Kazanik to Blazek at the moment, 3rd to 4th.
Yeah, very, very close throughout the... Oh, heavy on the curbing there for Polesny. The car getting lifted up into the air. And Stefanko really fancying his chances here. He's going to get a great run through turn 2. He's all over the back of this Acer car. He's going to sneak up the inside through turn 3. This is very scary stuff for Martin Stefanko. Oh, and again, carbon copy move to what happened on the first lap. He's again all out of shape, but he does manage to get it all slowed down. But that was only just for Martin Stefanko. Very well judged by him. and he is clearly pushing very, very hard. I mean, it's all or nothing for him at this point because, of course, ahead of him is more points, but more importantly, ahead of him is a better starting position for the feature race, and he is going to send one up the outside into this hairpin. It looks like Polesny, though, much later onto the brakes, switchback maneuver for Stefanko up ahead. The Logitech and the Vascar is going side by side as well. It looks like Kazanik is going to hold on to that fourth place position ahead of Bashko, who makes his return for today's race. So great to see Karl Bashko back in the driver's seat and doing well for the Avast team. But Martin Stefanko, again, desperately wants this position. He wants these points. He wants to try and minimize that points loss between himself and Spittle. But Lucas Pachata up the inside on the RPS car is going to get that position. Gets that job done only just, but yeah, he does manage to squeeze ahead, take the race in line for the next right-hander, and that is up into P9 for Pachata. So good job for the, oh yeah, look at that. A bit of opposite lock for him through the penultimate corner, but doing a fantastic job. It's even tighter, actually, I think, in the VGP1 category compared to VGP2. Just looking at the sort of gaps that we're seeing. Oh, Polesny thinking about making a move on Bashko in the Avast car. Kazanik definitely seems to be the cork in the champagne bottle when it comes to this midfield scrap, as about a 3.5 second gap starting to develop between himself and Blazek up ahead. As Chris mentioned, though, Klebets really maintaining that gap as we're getting into the second half of this race. It's still about 1 second, 1 and a bit seconds between himself and the Predator car of Michael Schmidl up ahead, so I would not discount Klebets from this race just yet. I think he definitely has an opportunity here as those soft tires wear down. However, this four-way battle is definitely the focus that we're on at the moment. It's going to be Avast versus Logitech, Acer versus Benzina. Oh, wow, that is a lunge and a half, and that is a spin for Kazanik, and that has unfortunately collected the Acer car of Polesny. That's going to hurt both of their races pretty significantly, drop them back into the clutches of the Thrustmaster car and the Forza car and the RPS car. So that's really not worked out for them. However, Stefanko moves up into 5th position as a result of that incident, or I should say those incidents, Chris.
He pulled what Rigel did last time around and just avoided the incidents around him. Whoa! There's a Pachata again, forward drifting through the corners. It may be flashy, it may be fun. It's not the quickest though, so just keep that one under control. As Stefanko already challenging Bashko in the Avast car for 4th position. So, well, the positions may have been gifted to him, but he's already got Bashko for that 4th spot, so he's not hanging around whatsoever. I wouldn't be surprised if that incident was looked at post-race, but at the moment we've had no notification of that, so he may have gotten away with that particular incident. But yeah, that's racing, these things happen. Oh, very nice, very classy from Stefanko. Just held the opposite lock, didn't saw that one. That was beautifully done. He's got a bit of a gap to close down though to catch up with Blazek, but look up front. Klebets is gaining on Schmidl. That gap is dangerously close to getting under a second. It was bordering on 1.82 seconds at one point. That Klebets is closing back in on Schmidl. So I wonder if those soft tyres have gone. Which, if that's the case, that will be affecting Blazek as well. Now, Blazek's got some gap behind him to Stefanko, but, you know, as we're seeing a lot of fighting once again into the hairpin. There goes Polesny. That's trying to move on Kazanik. Can he get it done? He wants the inside for the next apexes. These next 2 turns. Yes, he does, and gives the Logitech car a bit of a shove as well whilst he's at it. So Polesny back up into 7th. You can see the paintwork being rearranged. But that is 7th down to Sikora. So 7th, what is last? Not meaning that to sound disingenuous, that's how many cars are on the race. Oh, wow! Kazanik trying to get some traction, more than the rear wheels wanted to give him. And there's Kostanik in the Forza car trying to do something against the similarly painted Thrustmaster car, and forever confusing the two at range. No bones about admitting that. So, and staying very much to the tyre tracks. Absolutely brilliant stuff from our VGP1 drivers, and there is Klebets gaining on Schmidl, and he'll sit. Well, they'll both obviously realise that gap is closing down. Is closing down pretty quick. Look at that, a 38.6 from Klebets. Whoa, we didn't see anyone in the 38s from the VGP1, so that's absolutely stunning pace from the Smarty car. Now, unfortunately, we've seen a few times this season where Klebets has been in a really strong position and it's just undone itself. If he can maintain that, and he's got time on his side as well, 7.5 minutes plus change. He's got time. He doesn't have to desperately try for the move. He's got 6 seconds between himself and Blazek. So he's got a huge amount of time behind. He doesn't have to think about anything going on behind him. Well, Mr. Smiddle, you've got some work to do. If you're going to try and defend that for 7.5 minutes, if you manage that, you are a god amongst men. Oh, Kostalik just about didn't go into the gravel trap there. That's cost him that 10th position, I think, or sent him down to 10th position. Vajada in the Thrustmaster car's gone through. He's now being challenged by Seeker in the RPS car. Very, very close coming through that Piper turn. Here is Klebitz again. Klebitz just needs to keep his cool, which, again, is far easier for me to say. These things are hard enough to control when you haven't got the pressure around you. Just needs a decent exit from here. Oh, what a drive from Smiddle, though. There is grip still to be had in those tyres, but at this pace, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to fend off Smiddle. Another 38 from the Smarty car, so 38.7 from Klebitz. He's definitely the driver of the season so far for Klebitz.
Oh yeah, this is incredible stuff. I don't think Schmidl has had this kind of pressure since, Macau he had some pressure having to fight back, but I can't remember the last time Schmidl's been leading a race with the second place car this close and moving that quickly as well. So this is rapidly turning into the Klebitz show as he does get a great drive out of that Atwood curve at turn 4, and he's going to be straight onto the back of that Predator vehicle just ahead of him. They are going to be side by side into the hairpin. I think it's very oh no, I was going to say Schmidl is definitely going to, oh no, and that is the mistake, and I hate to say it, but you have called that one, Chris. You said that there have been moments where it's all undone for Klebitz, and there it is. Unfortunately, the Smarty driver just gets the braking point completely wrong. I thought for a moment there that Schmidl was actually braking early and that Klebitz was just very late onto the brakes, but no, same exact move that we saw in VGP2 from Corny going off both in the sprint race and the feature race, as well as Kazanik becomes the next to give us some lovely shots at the back end of that 190E. As you mentioned at the top of this broadcast, Chris, it is a real shame to see this car go, but this is definitely a fitting send-off.
Oh, isn't it just? And again, Kazanik in the Logitech car, giving that one the beans coming out of Hobbs. Very nicely done. Yeah, I wonder if Klebitz was trying to do what Kovacic brilliantly did in VGP2 and just outbrake. Well, he had no choice. He was forced to the outside move, but just that fraction of a second too late. And look how far off the road it sent him. He wouldn't have been that much too late on the brakes. Just the pure speed he had. He had a cracking drive from Atwood curve. He's now going to do it all over again. Now he doesn't have the time on his hands. He doesn't have too long to close down. He's got to be nearly a second a lap quicker than Smiddle. Good luck doing that at any circumstance. I mean, if you took Smiddle's brakes away, maybe. But otherwise, it would take a mistake from the Predator car. And we just haven't seen, once at Macau is the only time we've really seen a significant mistake from Smiddle. But that's the only time, going back to your original point of, the only time we've seen Smiddle, really under pressure from the guy in second. It took a reverse grid to do it. So Klebitz, unfortunately, I think it may well have just been the best opportunity he had to take a win from the mighty Smiddle.
I think you're exactly right about that. And, I'm absolutely gutted for him, and in no way causes me to think less of him as a driver. He went for it. He made a slight mistake. Drivers are prone to that sort of thing. As Daniel Ricciardo once said, better to send one up the inside and hope for the best than to just sit back as a peasant or whatever he said on Twitter. Klebitz is no peasant, sir. Not at all. No, he went for it, and he went for it hard. And I applaud his efforts. I would have preferred him to make the corner. It's not that I'm a Klebitz fan. I just would love to see more battling for Michael Schmidl, because it is so often the way that he will just take off into the distance, run his own race with a handful of seconds gap down to the car behind him, or more in some cases. That is not the racing line for turn 1, and Bashko unfortunately is going to lose a position as a result of that. Thomas Prohaska moves up into 5th position, and I have to say, Chris, actually, on Thomas Prohaska, as we have just a couple of laps or a few laps remaining in this race, he is driving extremely well. I don't know if it's maybe he just gets along at this circuit, but For instance, Polesny is very often ahead of Thomas Prohaska. We know Prohaska can be very good sometimes, but this is one of his best drives. You know, you're talking about Hlebitz's good drive. This is a fantastic drive for Thomas Prohaska as well in the Spurt car, doing very, very well to hold on to that 5th place position as we get very close to the end of this race now.
Yeah, absolutely. You've seen some great drives from several people. And also, you've got to think of Bashko. He's literally just parachuted into the Avast car. Yeah. We haven't seen him throughout the season. He hasn't had time. He hasn't had the amount of time or turns and distance behind this car that everyone else has. And he's right in the middle of the field. Yes, we've just seen that mistake. Well, not surprised. These things are easy to throw off the road. I've tried driving this car. It's very difficult. And again, lovely move from Bashko to get the tail wagging on the Avast car. So, yeah, these things are not easy to drive at all. So, all credit to Bashko for jumping in and getting straight on with it. He's not 10 seconds off the back of the field at all.
No, not at all.
Oops.
Oh, wow. Doing fantastic. He does have the Acer car right behind him, though, so he does need to worry. He does need to keep his eyes on his mirrors. And I think there's going to be 2 more laps after this one, because Schmidl would have come through on the start-finish line quite a while ago. So I believe we're actually going to see 2 more laps after this one is completed, because Schmidl, of course, is quite a ways up the road from this trio that we're having a look at currently. But yeah, Thomas Prohaska doing a fantastic job in the Spurt car. Carl Bashko, as we mentioned as well, doing a fantastic job, just kind of hopping in the middle of the season, and yeah, at the moment scoring solid points for the Avast team, and finishing ahead of some people, as it stands right now anyway, some people that have been doing extremely well. Polesny, I think, was the one that I mentioned before, but Kostulik as well has been having a heck of a season. He's been going very well, and he's down in 10th at the moment. And what's really great to see, though, is that we don't really have any sort of back markers or anything like that. Oh, this is getting very tasty between the Forza and Thrustmaster cars, as Pichota misses his apex ever so slightly for that turn 5 hairpin, and that just gives the slightest of opportunities to Kostulik, and he's really thinking about having a go here. Oh, that's not the kind of one. Yeah, that's a big moment there for Lucas Pichota as he loses the back end through the left-hander of Piper, and up the inside goes Kostulik, but he can't quite get it slowed down. Thrustmaster cuts back underneath him, and oh no! Oh no! No, I think it's Prohaska. It is.
No, it's Prohaska, sorry.
It is. Oh no, I'm so sorry, Prohaska. Oh, I couldn't believe it. I just saw the flash of black and green and immediately realized that I had commentator cursed this man, and I take full responsibility for that one. So, you know, it's not our first time doing that.
No, I commentated Chris Buxton earlier. Now you've sent Prohaska to the tail of the field. Oh, what a shame. And again, that just highlights these are the best amongst the field. That's how easy it is to spin this car. So, I'm not surprised that someone's managed to do it. There is Schmidl enjoying the lead once again, still getting the 39.2s, despite the fact he's on soft tyres that are probably a bit past their best by now. Which the white flag is out. There'll be 1 lap left to go. Oh! Gosling getting very, very fidgety under braking in the slipstream of the Thrustmaster cars, trying to get a decent drive on the exit of that outward curve now as they come down that back straight, getting what slipstream he can. Oh, you hear Polesny bouncing off the rev limiter. He ran out of revs quite a way before getting to that hairpin turn, but that setup is working well for him. He's keeping Bashko company there for that battle for 5th position, and the Thrustmaster, and oh, that's very, very wide for Pichota on the exit of the revolver turn. But still, great effort for Kostulik to keep the pressure on, and yeah, Seeker is not far behind. In fact, Prohaska, even after that error, isn't all that far off the back either.
No, not at all. Yeah, this is really tightening up here. We are right at the end of the race now, and Kostulik is pushing very, very hard to try and get past Pichota. This is now for 8th position after that unfortunate mistake for Thomas Prohaska. So these guys are battling for even more points than they were initially. So that's just going to spur him on even further. There's the confirmation. This is the final lap of this race, and you know, you have to say Hlebets has been closing that gap down once again. So I mean, there's positives to take away for Hlebets, you know, and that's what, oh god, Pichota again. This is incredible. I mean, I know we're in the right country to show off some drifting skills, but again, I don't know if that's the fastest way through turn 1. But
Ken Block's got nothing on this.
Yeah, incredible stuff for Lucas Pachata. But yeah, final lap, so maybe he's just doing a bit of showing off, or maybe he's just taunting Kostulik at this point. Who knows? But here we go with Polesny and Bashko once again. Again, I have to say, Bashko doing a fantastic job for what is now 5th position after the mistake from Prohaska. So he's into the top 10. He's into a double-digit points finishing position, and that was the last major overtaking location of the circuit as we go on board, or have a look at rather, at Michael Schmidl, the championship leader, the race leader in this race is now as well now too. And Hlebets again really started to close in towards the tail end of this race. Even despite that mistake, you can see he's pushing right up to the edge of the circuit and then beyond, but into the final corner for Michael Schmidl. It's going to be another victory for your reigning VGP champion, and it is going to be a second place, a very well-deserved second place for Hlebets, but he's got to be wondering what could have been. You can see, oh, and he hangs his head in shame. And, you know, this is why, Chris, this is why we love these races that take place in the studio, because you can see the emotion. You can see the emotion of the drivers. Also, you can see the incredible beard that Blazek has grown. That is, I'm going to applaud him just only on that beard.
There it is then, Schmidl once again on the top spot. Andre Klebet, what a great picture that is. I'm sure he's not smiling quite that much. There's the picture of Blazek to show the beard difference. I fully applaud the beard as well. So once again, Schmidl with fastest overall, 38.2. Dear God, that is unstoppable. And then Hlebets 2, Blazek 3, Stefenko climbing back up to 4th in the end, Bashko 5, Polesny 6, Kaznik 7, Chada 8, Kostelik 9, and Jan Sikra rounding out the top 10.
Unbelievable. Really, really enjoyed that race. Looking forward to the feature, the full-length race, the feature race that we have on store. We do have Polesny in the Acer car on pole position. Basco starting from 2nd. Welcome back to VGP2, or VGP. You're on the front row. Congratulations. Stefenko from 3rd position, and Schmidl in 6th position. So Schmidl needs to overtake Hlebets, Blazek, Stefenko, Bashko, and Polesny. None of that sounds easy. You can see he's already fighting for position in the background there. Stefenko hanging it around the outside of Karl Bashko, actually, in the Avast car. And I think Stefenko is going to get a very early position here. He's going to be happy about that performance. Yeah, Stefenko, he's probably got a big smile on his face right there. Blazek's going to try and follow through, see if he can take Bashko as well, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Hlebets now going side by side with the Legion car. Very, very close. He's trying to follow contact between the two of them as they get into the turn 4. Can Blazek get it slowed down? He does just about. And Hlebets actually moves through and puts Blazek between himself and Schmidl. What a start to this race.
Wow, I was convinced that was going to be a horrific incident with Bashko in the Avast car. He must have been hoping, well, they all must have been hoping, particularly Blazek, for like, please slow down, as Schmidl is doing what he can. It's gotten ahead now of the Legion car, so Blazek lost another position. Imagine Blazek may feel aggrieved by that, being nudged by the smarter car, but that is racing when they're this close in pace and that close physically together in the same bit of track. That is going to happen, unfortunately, as Hlebets then doing what he can against Bashko, a little bit deep perhaps into turn 8, into the Redmond turf. Oh, feeling the need to defend the inside at Hobbs as well. You know, he's doing what he can to keep Schmidl behind. We'll see how well that works out for him as they come to complete the first racing lap. There is the determined faces of Schmidl and Hlebets in the bottom of the screen, as everybody is drifting around that last turn once again. Polesny is, so once again we have an Acer car at the top of the field. Stefenko up to 2nd. That's exactly what he was aiming to do. That's why he was in a hurry to get past Bashko, his arch rival in the season. Schmidl in 5th position. He's hoping that the Predator car gets kind of held up there. Everyone on the hard tyres, predictably. No one's going to dare chance the soft tyres that long. The medium tyres don't seem fit for the purpose, as everybody, of course, in the VGP2 did exactly the same thing. But look at Hlebets. He's looking to try and break away from Schmidl. He was beginning to build up a bit of a gap for himself between himself and the Predator car. He's on Bashko's case. I bet you Hlebets really forces that pass as well. He wants someone in between himself and Schmidl. He was hoping Blazek would stay there. Of course, Schmidl was very quick to dispatch of him. And again, that's Stefenko trying to do the same thing as well. Everyone's trying to get away from Schmidl, basically.
Yeah, for good reason. I mean, he's been very, very quick all season long, and indeed
Hlebets has done it.
Unbelievable.
Helibus has got Basco as well.
Yep. Helibus does it. He's up into third position, moves himself ahead of the Avast car of Basco. Michael Schmidl is, of course, going to try to follow suit as quickly as he can and try not to lose any sort of time to the Smarty car because, of course, he knows exactly how quick Helibus is up ahead of him, so he's going to really try to minimize that time lost behind Carl Basco, who, again, is driving very well. He's not slow. He's right up to the pace of VGP1, straight into the car in the middle of the season. However, he's not going to be up to pace to Helibus, who is driving like an absolute madman. Bit of opposite lock there for Michael Schmidl as we sit on board inside this Mercedes-Benz 190E, powering down the start-finish straight. Is he going to try anything up the inside onto the brakes for Martin Stefanko in second position? Not quite close enough to mount an attack on Polesny in the Acer car. Helibus similarly has a bit of a gap to Stefanko up ahead, and Basco really has to start worrying about Schmidl here. I think Schmidl is probably going to try something into Atwood curve here, Chris.
That's a fair assumption. We've seen a few moves on the inside of that fourth turn. No, he doesn't go for that move yet, but yeah, they've got a lot of time right now. The field is this much condensed. No one needs to question Schmidl's pace. Yeah, that is never, ever up for debate. Good drive on the exit of the Atwood curve for Basco as well. Is it enough to keep Schmidl behind him? And he looks to defend the inside line. Nicely positioned for Basco to defend that inside line, but maintain as much of the racing line as he could do. That's going to keep the Predator car behind him for now. And that's helping Helibus get after Stefanko, who in turn is really getting close to Polesny. There they are as they come through the shot, as Schmidl almost pushing the Avast car, but the longer that Schmidl sits there, Blazek could get involved. He's fallen a little bit off the back of the Predator car at the moment, but again, people may choose to maybe manage their tyres a little bit, save a little bit for the end of the race. We will see. Looking further downfield, there is Lucas Pichada on the back of Jan Sikora coming through that Hobbs turn with KingKodiak and Thomas Prohaska in short order as well. That's the biggest gap we've got in the field. That's just shy of 3 seconds between Sikora and Kazanik, but so much is likely to change as the race continues.
Yeah, Sikora, of course. The Avast car. Basco's coming under attack from Schmidl. Schmidl up the inside into turn one. It looks like this should be enough, but actually Basco's fighting it. He'll have the inside line for turn two. We've seen in the VGP2 races, though, going around the outside of turn two can be successful, and it looks like he has used that to good effect. Michael Schmidl around the outside at turn two, inside line for turn one, moves himself ahead of Carl Basco, who did a fantastic job of defending. He's going to defend the inside line, just make sure the Avast car can't fight back at him coming out of that corner. And actually Blazek right behind as well. So Blazek's going to be looking to follow Michael Schmidl through here if he can. He's going to pick up that slipstream. Wow, 3 wide is that's Pichada and Kostulik, both of them managing to get past Sikora. Sikora was, of course, bringing up the rear of the field during the opening race, but 3 wide into the braking zone. And I do believe that Kostulik up the inside, is he going to come out on top? No, Sikora, incredibly, is going to maintain that position ahead of the Forza and Thrustmaster cars. Incredible defensive driving there from Sikora. Wow, I'm a bit shocked by that one.
Yeah, that was brilliantly driven. That could have so easily ended up. If someone had snatched the curb a little bit too much, that would have been a very big mess on the outside of the turn. The wall would have greeted 3 or 4 eager Mercedes there, but never mind. Let's look at the top 3. Polesny, Stefanko and Helibus. Then it's 2 seconds back to Schmidl, who still has Basco for company, although there's about a second between those two now. The top 3 separated by barely a second now, as Helibus looking to try and get some fodder in between himself and Schmidl. That, I imagine, he's going to be keen on his list at the moment, judging by his pace today. But Stefanko just wants to clear that Acer car. Stefanko was the one that capitalized on Schmidl's unfortunate race at Macau. He crossed the line first anyway, just even before any penalties were applied. So Stefanko wanted to clock up another W in this series, but Polesny is no slouch, we know that. But Helibus has been absolutely lightning today, so we'll see if he's able to maintain that, maintain the momentum. But looking behind, Schmidl has really opened up a gap now between himself and Basco, who's got Blazek right in his tail.
Yeah, Blazek looking like he wants to possibly make an overtake on Basco. I mean, he was looking like that about a lap ago after Schmidl made the overtake. So he's going to be rather keen to try and overtake the reserve driver filling in today in the Avast car. So Blazek is having to go offensive today rather than his usual defensive stuff after some lower down qualifying positions for him, it has to be said. Possibly just not a circuit that he gets along with. Of course, some drivers great at certain circuits, other drivers good at around other sorts of places, but this is exactly the sort of battling that we want to see. Polesny leads the way, Stefanko right behind him. Plebets, who has arguably been the fastest driver all weekend long, is sitting in third position. Meanwhile, our championship leader, just coming into shot now, that is Michael Schmidl in fourth position, just a couple of seconds adrift of this three-way battle. So this is shaping up to be something very special. Really looking forward to this one. It's been absolutely fantastic so far, and I don't expect that to change any bit whatsoever. But staying on board with, oh no, switching back to Blazek actually, again. He's just dipped the wheel in the grass there. That was fantastic camera work to get it on him for that moment. But yeah, it looked like he was possibly going to attack the Avaskar Bashko up ahead, but dipping that rear right wheel into the grass has unfortunately curtailed any sort of charge he was hoping for there. Great exit though for Plebet. See how he just lets the car run out wide, gets on that throttle a little bit earlier compared to Stefanko, but it looks like Stefanko, I don't know, maybe a quicker gear change or something like that was able to just pull away that little bit. Plebet's just showing his nose, but Stefanko with the dive bomb. Oh no, and he's off the circuit. He's into the grass. He's going to lose the position to, oh no, and there's contact between Blazek and the Avaskar of Bashko, and that's going to allow Kazadik to move up in a position or two. And this is on board with Schmidl now, which is for now fourth position after that incident involving Stefanko. That's so unfortunate for the Benzina driver. It's been such a difficult weekend for him, Chris, and it looks like it's not getting any easier.
Once again, the MS is cross swords. Stefanko ahead of Schmidl this time. Smartin, keep it steady. Of course, that's the second time we've seen Stefanko having to make a recovery drive. I was watching the gap between Schmidl and what was then Plebet. He didn't seem to be changing a great deal, so I do wonder whether Schmidl is going to have enough pace to get past the top three. We will see. He certainly got the ability to do it, we know that. But again, look, Schmidl was not able to get him. He was 2/10 all the way down the straight. Yeah. So it would seem that whatever setup he's running for Schmidl is not quite giving him what he needs. Never mind that, Klebet side by side with Polesny coming through the Moss S's. He's going to have to be forced to the outside for the outward curve. He doesn't choose to duck underneath the Ace of Kai. He's committed to the outside line. He's going to try and get that early throttle pickup to run around that long turn 4. Now he's going to try and go underneath. He's committed to the outside line. He's going to be on the grass. He's still keeping his foot in it. Oh my goodness. Look at the amount of dust he kicked up. He wanted that inside line, but no, he breaks early. My goodness me, talk about determination. Plebets was, this is my line, I'm sticking to it, but that's cost him so much time against Stefanko and Schmidl behind. That could really undo itself. He's determined to get past Polesny. He wants that top spot, obviously. But that's a little bit too desperate. You've got time in your pocket. Don't be doing things like that. You'll give me a heart attack if nothing else.
Here we go.
Oh, nearly.
He's going to try it around the outside, or is he going to try switch back at the exit? No. Polesny holds on to that inside line. But yeah, you're right about that. Plebets is desperate to try and get by because he knows that really Stefanko is not that far behind. I thought he had actually lost the position after making that mistake into the hairpin, but indeed, all he did was lose time. So Stefanko is doing a fantastic job of staying ahead of Schmidl. As Chris mentioned, it seems possibly Schmidl. Oh, that is a lunge and a half for Plebets, and he's not going to make that corner. That's going to put him off into the gravels. That's another mistake, and that's going to actually put Schmidl off. So that's done wonders for Stefanko. Schmidl's going to be around the outside at turn 2. Plebets is coming back at him, though, and that is incredible stuff. And I seriously cannot believe that dive bomb from the pair of them. That's just absolutely incredible. But up the inside for Michael Schmidl, he does move ahead of Plebets, but as Plebets going to come back at him, he's going to get a good exit. Not quite as good as it seems as the Predator car, but on the long run down towards turn 5, he might have an opportunity here if he brakes late enough, but not too late, guys. Let's make sure to keep it on the black stuff. keep it on the asphalt, but Michael Schmidl, nice and late on the brakes, is, I think, just about going to keep Klebets at bay. So another change in the top 4. It's now Polesny leading Stefanko, leading Schmidl, leading Klebets, and all of these guys within about, 3 seconds of each other.
Look at the gap, Schmidl to Stefanko. That gap was mainly there before Klebets fell behind, so that's not as a result of Schmidl defending against the Smarty car. It would seem that Schmidl just does not quite have the pace that we're used to seeing him have. Maybe this circuit's a bit of a bogey one for him. Maybe he was dependent on the soft tyres in the sprint race. Maybe he's just biding his time. Who knows? You can never predict what's going to happen here. I didn't expect to see Stefanko off into the dust. I didn't expect to see anybody off into the dust. And how many times have we seen it? So let's give up on trying to predict anything at this particular point. But that's given Polesny a big old bit of breathing space. 1.5 seconds now separates him and the Benzina car. But once again, the MSs are together. But it would seem at this stage, we're just going to try and predict anything. It does look like that Schmidl is going to have to work much harder than we're used to seeing him do. But look at the tail of the field as well. Sikora down to Prohaska. They're all really in their battle to, that's for 8th position as well. Klebets, again, just not giving up. He is giving it absolutely everything. These cars are on a very knife edge when they're at the limit. And, several times in this race and the VGP2 race, that limit was slightly exceeded with quite bad consequences in some instances. But Klebets is piling the pressure onto Schmidl, and Schmidl as yet not able to close in the gap between himself and Stefanko. Stefanko, though, has really chopped a big chunk out of the gap between himself and Polesny. So the top 4 separate. Each gap is less than a 10.
And incredible. I mean, this is absolutely fantastic. I can't remember the last time the top 4 have been this tight with one another after this much racing as well, too. 15 minutes of racing, and this is what the field looks like. We do still have about half an hour still to go, so we're about a third of the way into it, thereabouts, maybe a little, just about there. But Koschelik and Pachada, that battle is going on at the moment. Pachada stepping that back end out. I swear we've seen that Thrustmaster drifting so much this weekend. It's been a lot of fun to watch, though. Worth pointing out, though, as well, we were talking about the battle for 8th position. Really, Kazanik is not breaking away from this quartet that are battling for 8th position. So I would say Kazanik sort of involved in this as well. He does have an over 1 second gap down to Sikora behind, but I mean, that's not a huge amount around this circuit. So certainly they could get themselves involved with that Logitech car, and that battle for 8th could easily become a battle for 7th. Having a look at Schmidl in 3rd position, and it's looking like he's less under attack from Klebets now at this point, and more on the attack against the Benzina car of Stefanko ahead of him. So Schmidl seemingly going on the attack here, but let's listen, let's watch the speeds if we can. Is he bouncing off the limiter? Does he just not have the top speed? It certainly seems that way just visually, because again, I mean, he couldn't be any closer to the Benzina car coming out of turn 4, and they were pretty much the same distance when they got down to turn 5. So I think you're exactly right about that, Chris. I think there might be something fundamental about Schmidl's setup or his gear ratio or something like that, which is really not helping him in making these overtakes. His raw skill has gotten him up to 3rd place, but I'm not sure that's going to be enough to offset the difference in top speed he seems to have.
It would seem to be the case, but plenty of time for that to completely change as once again we look at this battle for 8th position. As you pointed out earlier, Justin Kazanik is not that far up the road, so easily could become a 5-way battle for 7th. There's Klebets on the back of Schmidl, so Schmidl is still really keeping the pressure on Stefanko, but also notice Schmidl is not positioning himself in a position to try and move either. That's something I've noticed the last few laps as well. He's right under the rear wing of Stefanko, and every other time you would expect Schmidl to make the dive, make the move, force the hand of the driver ahead. He doesn't seem to be doing that in this race, so I wonder whether he's actually been toying with everybody. Oh, never mind. He's done the late lunge. Oh, bit of a tap on Stefanko. That's going to put Stefanko off, but is that going to bring Klebets into this battle? So Schmidl now gone nose to head of Stefanko. Everybody pretty much even on speed. And Smiddle feels the need to defend that inside line. Clemens parts the waves as he looks to go on the inside. Can Stefanko slow it down? That's already bitten him once. Can he fight back on the Predator car? Yes, he can. He's gotten back ahead of him. Oh, me of little faith. I thought that one was done. And maybe so did Smiddle, with Clemens trying to make a difference in there as well. And Polesny's saying, yeah, you guys carry on. I'll just carry on going in this direction if you don't mind. What a great fight. If we've got this for another 24 minutes, I am going to be a very, very happy man indeed. What great racing from these guys.
Goosebumps. I have goosebumps from that one. I mean, Stefanko, Smiddle, and Plebets 3 wide down a straight in the 190E. This is the stuff that dreams are made of. This is, I mean, absolutely incredible. This is at the top of my wish list for VGP. Really, really enjoying this one. We thought Donington put on a good show, but this is really kicking it up to another level. I mean, really enjoying this stuff. Is Stefanko going to defend the inside line into turn 1? No, it doesn't look like he needs to again. Smiddle just not able to pull alongside of that Benzina car as they get to the end of the start-finish straight. Plebets right behind. I mean, the 3 of them are separated by about 0.4 of a second, 0.5 of a second. So, I mean, absolutely nothing in between it. Stefanko, though, with a much better exit coming out of the Williams corner, going through the Moss S's. I have to say, those Moss S's have been some of my favorite, one of my favorite parts of the circuit, to see the cars going side by side, because it just looks so beautiful through there. The way they navigate those very slight, high-speed changes of direction. It's just been absolutely gorgeous. It seems it's going to be a lot less exciting for this trio on the rundown towards the hairpin. At least it is for Stefanko, as Smiddle feels the need. He, again, leaves just enough room. Just enough room. He says, yeah, go ahead. Go alongside me. Risk dipping a wheel in the grass. See what happens. Just open invitation to possibly destroy his own race for Hlebet. So Hlebet's in the end not able to get by, not even able really to pull alongside into that turn 5 hairpin, so it is as they were. And as you mentioned, Chris, this is all playing perfectly into the hands of Polesny. This is absolutely incredible stuff, and this might end up being the biggest race weekend of the year for the Acer team. After Pavel Rigel picked up back-to-back victories in VGP2, look at Polesny go!
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said earlier, we thought Donington was good. Donington was, but this is shaping up to be absolutely incredible. That last move that we saw from, Klebitz on Smiddle, that could have gone horribly wrong for Smiddle. Smiddle would have found himself boxed in, next to Klebitz and behind Stefanko. He would have had nowhere to go, but the Smarty car not able to get enough traction where he needed it to pull that particular maneuver off. But it really does show that Klebitz has got a genuine pace. He was nailed to the back of the Predator car all the way down here, as he is again through the Moss S's, and again he's looking, he's coming into the inside line. Can he slow it down to the outward curve? Answer is, yes he can. The Smarty car up into third, but can he fend off? That's going to be the big tail. And Smiddle, he's looking slightly, was he slightly agitated by that, I wonder? Or maybe he's a surprise that Klebitz pulled the move off. And look at that! I wonder, surely Smiddle backed out of that. There's no way there's that much pace difference between Smiddle and Hlebitz. We'd have seen Smiddle fall down the field. Smiddle must have just backed off at that particular point just to let Hlebitz get back into position. You knew the move was done. But what a great move from Hlebitz. And here's another one. That is Jan Sikora on Kostely. The RPS car finding his way past, or trying to get past the Forza car. And Kostely then having the inside line for Revolver. That's the sport car of Thomas Prohaska looking to get involved. Lucas Ricciardo has got a great ringside seat for this. And still side by side, neither of them giving up on that one. Surely that is going to be advantage Kostely. And there's a punch in the face for his trouble. And then goes the sport car of Prohaska as well. He's looking to capitalise on it. Oh my goodness me. It is impossible to keep up with. It's a great problem to have, let's be honest. The RPS car of Jan Sikora is still trying to fend everybody off. And Kostely holds on to that particular position. Gets very sideways for it as well. And I imagine they're all enjoying this racing as well. But wow, what an amazing set of corners from pretty much everybody at the front and at the back. The boys in the middle, so that's Bashko, Blage and Kazanik. I haven't really seen them because they could be on their own for comparatively speaking. They're time trialing essentially. Everyone else is doing the amazing racing, and it's been great fun to catch up with. But also something else to bear in mind from our top 4. Now that the 4 of them, if you look at the times between them, no one's going to be in an immediate attacking position. Not, what I say immediate is exactly what we can see. Less than half a second between them. There's more gaps than that. Smiddle on Klebitz, perhaps. But, you would take the biggest lunge in the world to close down that gap. That's allowing Stefanko to go after Polesny. Expect that top 4 to condense again.
Oh yeah, without question. I'm definitely expecting a lot more fireworks from that quartet. We're staying on board with Lucas Pichota. I have to say, this race has also been one of the best races as far as the guys at the back. I mean, again, there haven't really been back markers in these races at Okayama. There's just something about it that has kind of evened out the field for a lot of these drivers. I mean, the car in last position is only about a second and a half away from 8th position.
Yeah.
That small of a gap, that's something that's really special and awesome to see. And we really enjoy seeing that kind of stuff. We don't like seeing anybody spinning off and, ending up 10, 20 seconds behind the rest of the field. That's never fun. We want to see absolutely everybody in it with a chance at finishing in the points. And that is exactly what we're seeing in this battle for 8th position. We did mention earlier there was only about a second between Kazanik and 8th position. That has changed, though, with all that battling for 8th position. Kazanik has been rather fortunate. I mean, he's earned that 7th place position, and as a result has earned that good fortune of not needing to battle the rest of those guys behind him. So, and that's allowed him to just extend that gap ever so slightly down to the Forza car behind him. So, as Chris mentioned before, he is having a fairly comfortable race at this stage, but focusing again on the top 4, or rather 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, because again, Polesny holding a pretty steady gap up at the front in what has again been a fantastic weekend for the Acer team so far, and he's looking to continue that as we have less than 18 minutes plus 1 lap. This race has absolutely flown by. I cannot believe that we are well past the halfway distance of this race already. But yeah, the top 4 spread out a little tiny bit, but again, Chris and I are both expecting that this is going to get tighter once again, and I mean, you can see it visually just through that one left-hander. Klebitz starting to close up on Stefanko once again. Stefanko pushing very hard, trying to catch that green Acer car ahead of him of Polesny. On board with Thomas Prohaska, who again, aside from that incident in the first race, has had an incredible weekend. He's been driving so well. So I'm not going to count him out from moving up some positions. Thomas Prohaska is definitely going to be one to watch in that 4-way battle for 8th position, I think.
What an incredible send-off. What a way to say farewell to this amazing car with this level of top quality racing from our drivers. Yes, we've seen a few people go off into the dust, but look at that! What a great amount of opposite lock from that is from Klebitz in the Smarty car. Absolutely incredible, and that's not that tight a corner either that he was doing that on. So it just shows that he was just he's just booting it. That's very much pushing the car to his limits. And bearing in mind it is Smiddle behind him, I'm not surprised he's having to push that hard. But I'm keeping an eye as well on the gap between Stefanko and Polesny. It's coming down, but it's coming down very, very gradually. So Stefanko can't rely on there being 16 minutes left. I think at that pace difference, he might need vast majority of that to close down Polesny. Polesny is doing brilliantly well to maintain the gap. They're all in the mid-39s. Look at the lap times you can see. Bearing in mind, Stefanko, as he's kicking up dust again on the exit of the Piper turn, 39.5, and that gap barely came down by a tenth last time around. So Polesny is right in that kind of lap time gap. Well, there you go, 39.8 last time around. It came down by not even 3/10 last time around. So Polesny doing a brilliant job in maintaining the kill. Look at that, nicely done, Stefanko. We're seeing a lot more tail lagging going on with the VGP1 drivers than we did with the VGP2s. So Stefanko can't rely on the fact that he's got the time there. I think he's going to need most of it to close down the gap to Polesny, and that's only 1.5 seconds. Obviously, you can visually see that's what 1.5 seconds looks like in these things. But equally, they know how costly a mistake is. Let's look at the lap times again. 39.5 again from Stefanko, despite the fact that he's kicking up a smoke screen behind him. Klebitz, not even a 10, but that's 0.02 of a second slower than Stefanko last time around. And Smiddle has not lost any time, hasn't gained any equally. So he's in you expect Smiddle to be in the same lap time bracket. His fastest lap from the sprint race was a 38.2. Now, you cannot do that with a hard tyre. It's physically impossible, not unless you have a rocket or jet engine somewhere, which I'm pretty sure he's not carrying one of those. So, this battle is, they may look settled. Don't even consider that a thing. They are pushing with everything they've got.
Oh my god. And I've just looked at the time for Schmidl as well, too. He's smack dab as far as previous lap times go. He is smack dab in between Stefanko and Hlebets. And they were only separated by 17 thousandths of a second. So we're talking about 17 thousandths of a second separating their 3 lap times last time. That's how similar these guys are. So Polesny was... Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, all 4 of these guys are within half of a tenth as far as lap times. All 4 of them. I apologize for emphasizing almost every word in these sentences, but that is truly incredible stuff. I mean, I'm absolutely, and I'm so sad to be seeing this car go. I mean, please... Everyone, write letters to VGP and let them know you want to see the Mercedes-Benz 190E in every future season, because this has been absolutely incredible. Okayama in particular, which was a track I already liked before we came here with the VGP2 drivers, but now I like it even more. It's been an absolute treat watching this, and I completely agree with you, Chris. I think, that's a bit wide there for Stefanko. I don't think he's going to lose out too much to Hlebets. He's going to have to defend the inside line, I think, as they get to the end of this very long straight, and we're probably going to see him slowly drifting over to the right-hand side. We do indeed, and Hlebets is going to have to be, he's going to be forced to the long way around the outside. He's not quite as late onto the brakes compared to Stefanko, though, and Stefanko can take that apex, actually, take that racing line and make sure he stays ahead of the smarty car of Hlebets. But yeah, this has been just absolutely incredible stuff. I've really enjoyed this from start to finish. Really not much to go. But yeah, I'm going to start a petition to make sure the 190E and Okayama are both in the 2020 VGP season, because both of these have just been absolutely incredible. But yeah, back to what I was saying, Chris, I agree with you about Polesny. I genuinely think with the pace that he has and the amount of time that's left in this race, it's looking better and better for him to pick up that win, and looking better and better for Acer to have just about the perfect weekend.
And I think that gap's increased, actually, between Polesny and Stefanko this time around. So Hlebets was a 39.3 last time around. So this top pack, despite the fact that they are starting to battle now, and the lap times we were quoting, they weren't doing punch and counterpunch, defend and retaliate. They weren't doing any of that. All of them were just following the racing line. And Polesny was still right in there with a lap time. So that shows how well these 3 are doing, bearing in mind that they now really are fighting. So yeah, look at the lap times. Still very, very good lap times, just slightly off of where we've seen the best lap time so far. The tail of Stefanko's guy getting twitchy again. Stefanko's really feeling the pressure now. This is Polesny's, again, a great opportunity for him to try and give himself a little bit more of a gap. There goes Stefanko defending the inside for the hairpin once again. Hlebets just can't outbrake the Benzina car. Oh, me of little faith. It looks like he has. Side by side, can he hold it? He wants the inside for the next 2 apexes. Hlebets, he's got him. The smarty car is now up into second. He has thrown Stefanko to the mercy of Michael Schmidl. But can he break away? He has certainly had the pace over those around him. Now he's got to deploy it. But, let's hope he doesn't fall foul to those terrible mistakes that we've seen him make already in this race. I've commentator cursed him again. He's going to come hunting after me from the Czech Republic over here to the Britain to try and find me, to say, stop it, stop doing it. But look at that, he's already given himself, that's half a second in 3 or 4 corners that the smarty car's given himself. And wow, that's absolutely brilliantly done. Stefanko may well just be concentrating on Schmidl behind at that particular moment, but that's already Hlebets not losing any time. Look at that. I mean, that, considering the gap between Stefanko and Hlebets, and compare that to the gap between Stefanko and Schmidl, Hlebets has got a yawning chasm compared to what Stefanko is now having to deal with once again fending off the Predator car. But Andre Hlebets, we've said time and again, is just, if we can just iron out those kinks, he's right there. Again, look at the lap time difference. Polesny with the 140, which is in 140 flat, which is still a pretty decent lap time. 0.6 of a difference for Hlebets, and he made the move on Stefanko whilst doing it. Absolutely amazing stuff. 9.5 minutes to go, and only a second separates the Acer car to the Smarty car, and still Smiddle is looming. He is waiting to attack. He sprung the surprise move on Stefanko, well, on anyone around it, but on Stefanko last time around. So it is still there. He's hanging on to the back of the Benzina car. There is so much that can still happen. Less than a second now Polesny has to play with. That lead has disappeared so quickly.
Chlebets is on an absolute charge. This is incredible. I'm going to go ahead and say it. This is, I think, the first time I've ever said this, but Chlebets is a champion in waiting. This is unbelievable pace that we're seeing from him, and you're exactly right. You said it, you know, if he can just avoid the silly mistakes and that sort of stuff, I mean, he would be well out in front. He probably would have won both of these races, actually, the way things have been going. So, oh no, that's a bit wide there for Stefanko. Is that going to be the opportunity that Michael Schmidl needs on the run into the first corner? But again, no, he just doesn't seem to have the grunt on the straights that he needs in order to make the overtakes that he's been wanting to make. He's so close, and he gets to the end, but unfortunately just runs out of gears, runs out of road, and unfortunately just can't make it happen. So the Predator driver hangs back in fourth position for the meantime, but Chlebets has closed down the gap significantly to Polesny. It's a smaller gap now between first and second than it is between second and third, and it's been a while since we've been able to say something like that. So it is definitely getting closer between the top two, as Stefanko seems to be struggling here in the closing stages of this race. Just 8 minutes plus 1 lap still to go here from Okayama for the feature race of VGP1 in the 2019 Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP season. The final race, the final race in the Mercedes-Benz 190E, and it's been an absolute cracker, this race. This entire weekend has been absolutely incredible. Really enjoyed it. It's been fantastic seeing the emotions on the drivers' faces. We always miss the webcams that they have, the shot of the drivers' faces whenever we do the online races. We always miss them, but it's great to see them back again, seeing that emotion in the drivers' faces. And look at this, Chlebets is, I think, about as close as anyone has been to Polesny since the start of this race, practically nose to tail as they make their way out of Hobbs Corner into turn 10, into the penultimate corner. 1 corner still to go, as they've got about 7 minutes remaining in this race, and Chlebets is, I can only imagine, really just being spurred on. He knows how quick he is. He knows that he probably should win this race. He's got the pace to win this race. Let's check those lap times as they cross once again, and it's a 39.2 that lap for Chlebets. That is a very, fastest lap actually for Chlebets, right at the end too. There's, I mean, of course the car is lighter with fuel at this stage, but not much is left in those tires. So yeah, 39.6 compared to a 39.2, so that's another 0.4 of a second taken out of Polesny's lead. And pretty much ever since Chlebets cleared Stefanko, it's just been all about this man in the Smarty car. And look at that, he's just gotten a great exit coming out of the turn 4, out of Atwood Curve. But actually, I don't know if he lifted there or if that was a gear change or something like that, but he just dropped back a little bit. He's picking up the slipstream now. Polesny looks like he wants to go defensive into the hairpin. I'm sure Chlebets is thinking, that's absolutely fine. I'll go around the outside. I don't care which way. You tell me which way you want me to go, and I'll do it. He switches back to the inside. That'll give him the outside line for both Revolver and for Piper, but no, with that inside line, Polesny maintains the position, but only just. This is getting more and more desperate for Chlebets, and Polesny, you can see, just fighting the wheel. Fighting, even on the straight part of the circuit, he's fighting the wheel. This is incredible stuff.
And that's going to help Stefanko and Smiddle get back in it. There they are. So that gap was up to nearly 1.5 seconds between Chlebets and Stefanko. That gap is gone. So once again, these warring duos have become a quartet again. So this is... Oh, my goodness me. I thought Donington was going to be hard to beat. And here we are. Okayama giving us the goods. Polesny doing everything he can, but Chlebets is showing some restraint. He could have dived. He could have forced his way through, and he hasn't. He's showing a bit more restraint, but we only have 5 minutes left. Oh my goodness me. Something else also dawns on me. If Stefanko's able to keep Smiddle behind him, that'll be the first time Smiddle has finished off the podium. Bearing in mind, Macau, that was done. The position was done by penalties, not by finishing position. For as far as Smiddle was concerned. It'll be the first time Smiddle has finished off the podium in 2 years, but Chlebets looking for the inside line, and Atwood and can't get the drive he needs. My goodness me, and Stefanko is right under the rear wing of Lebits now. That gap has just disappeared. And that really is highlighting the difference in pace between when they've been absolutely pressing on like maniacs in free air and when they're defending against one another. Time is ticking down. They don't have time to wait. Lebit's trying to get the drive on the inside. No, can't get through on the inside of turn 6, but here's Stefanko now, dragging Smiddle with him. Oh my goodness me, I'm not sure I'm not sure my voice can take it, but what a way to go. This has been absolutely amazing stuff. We could not have asked for a better send-off for the 190E. It has been absolutely amazing. And there are other battles going on, but there aren't a four-way battle going on for the lead. That's not a four-way battle going on throughout the field. Blazek is close to Bashko, but this is absolutely incredible stuff. It's so tense as well. I mean, the drivers must be sweating like crazy. They must be losing pounds of weight by now.
This is incredible stuff. Look how close they are. There is less than 4 minutes to go on the clock, and these top 4 cars are separated by about a second. By about 1 second, which is even more incredible when you consider the car that they're in as well, too. I mean, this is fantastic stuff. Just really top-notch racing we're seeing today at Okayama. Oh, great. Good to see Stefanko has time to scratch his nose in the middle of the Moss S there. Here we go with Lebits once again. He's going to send one up the inside. Contact with the Acer car. They're both going to go for a bit of slide, a bit of opposite lock for the both of them. And now Stefanko is going to try to get by, but he's got to worry about Schmidl. He's going to pull alongside him. They're 3 wide. No, actually, it looks like Polesny has gone from 1st to 4th in 1 corner. Now they're going to be 3 wide. Stefanko on the outside, Schmidl on the middle, Lebits on the inside, and it looks like Lebits is going to take the lead of this race. Oh no! More contact! Stefanko gets through. Stefanko sneaks by the accident. He takes the lead of the race. Lebits is dropping back. That is just so unfortunate for the Smarty driver. I can't believe what is happening in the tail stages of this race. Stefanko now leads. Schmidl right behind. Polesny down to 3rd. Lebits down to 4th. And with some pretty significant damage, you can see that rear end is not looking so good. Oh man, I'm so glad you're here, Chris, because I too, my voice is also exhausted.
Oh my goodness me, so Schmidl is likely to finish on the podium. I was trying to say earlier that if he stayed in 4th, that would have been the first time in, I think, about 2 years that Schmidl was facing not being on the podium. Now Stefanko has taken over the lead. 2 laps remain in this car, in this race, and Schmidl going for that big surprise dive on the inside of turn 1. He can't get the drive to hold it though. Stefanko gets the drive. He needs to go on the inside of 2. No, you're now going to have to work harder than that, Mr. Schmidl. Oh, he holds onto the inside though for turn 2. Can he hold it? And I thought that was going to happen. The contact with Lebits was, I kind of thought that was caused by Schmidl, but it was decided a 20-second penalty. That's the same as Macau. Oh my goodness, that's going to trump Schmidl. Oh, quick bit of match right the way down to about 6, 7.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me. So Stefanko, whether he finishes in the lead or not, he's going to be on the podium, unless, of course, he throws it off into the dust.
Don't do it again.
Yeah, don't spin another one out. Oh, my goodness me. It was... but you've got to feel for Lebits. When is he going to get a break? Oh, my goodness. He had the move done. Oh, Stefanko again. And he's defending for everything he's worth. Of course, they probably don't, Schmidl won't know he's got the penalty at this particular point. He won't be informed of that at this point. I mean, I woe betide any official that's going to try and talk to him now. I mean, my goodness me. 30 seconds before the checkered flag falls. Is Stefanko going to beat the flag? Yeah, he probably is. He's going to be 2 laps from now. I called it wrong when they came over the flag. Yeah, he's going to beat the flag quite comfortably. He's got 2 laps to keep Schmidl behind him. Right behind them is Polesny as well. Don't forget him in the Acer car. He's still going to face a podium. It is still going to be a decent haul of points. Look at where Stefanko positioned his car. You are not doing that move on me again. He has perfectly parked that one in the middle of the track. But Schmidl is still... Despite all the, despite the impact, despite the sort of pace difference that we're not used to seeing in Schmidl, against Michael Schmidl this time, he's still right in there. He's fighting for everything he's got. and trying to get a tighter line through Atwood go through that fourth turn, can't quite get it, and a decent drive. Oh, very good drive actually for Stefanko with the Benzina car. That could well guarantee that, well, prevent, I should say, Smidl making a move on the inside, and Lemmis has time to wipe his face. And there you heard Smidl bouncing off the rev limiter again. Stefanko's gone deep. It won't matter in the end, but they won't know that at this particular point in time. Stefanko, oh no, he can't hold the inside line. For Revolver, going to get the drive he needs. No, Smidl on the inside. Pipe is going to push Stefanko wide. No, brilliantly driven, gives Smidl a bit of a nudge. Can Stefanko defend it? No, he's not going to have the inside line. He breaks a bit early. Smidl goes through, but Stefanko's still alongside. No, he can't hold it. And here comes Polesny now to make Stefanko's day that little bit worse. They still got a lap to do, and Stefanko gets very wriggly as they come through. My goodness me, nothing is there's no quarter given. No one's giving up on anything yet.
I mean, I'm at a loss for words at this point. I think we've used just about every metaphor and adjective, and you know, we are running out of words at this point as the white flag is out. Final lap. Oh, that is an almighty lunge for Polesny in the Acer car. He does make contact with the Benzina car of Stefanko, but I think he backed out of that, realizing that he had made a mistake. Very much that I've immediately regret this decision sort of meme going on there for Polesny, and I think unfortunately for him that is going to ruin any opportunity he might have had of moving ahead of Stefanko on the final lap of this race. But now one thing I would like to point out here, Chris, while you were talking, I've done a little bit of maths here. If Stefanko wins, which it looks like he's going to, and Smidl finishes in 7th, I might be wrong about this, but I think Stefanko would lead the championship by 1 point. By 1 point. So if Smidl finishes in 6th, he'll still be leading the championship by just 1 point. But if he drops behind Kazanik and drops down into 7th position, Martin Stefanko will be the leader of the 2019 Mercedes-Benz VGP Championship, and I cannot believe I'm saying that. With the way that Smidl has been driving all season long, that would be an unbelievable turn of events, and that might be exactly the kind of motivation that Stefanko needs to bring this championship right down to the wire. It looks like Smidl is going to be the first to cross the line here at Okayama for the final few corners in the Mercedes-Benz 190E. It's been an amazing car. It's been an amazing circuit. It's been an amazing set of races all weekend long. Smidl crosses the line first. Stefanko will win. Polesny in 2nd. Very well-deserved 2nd position for Polesny. Commiserations for Hlebets, who now picks up 3rd position. But we will have to find out the final standings to see who the leader of VGP1 is after that race. What an unbelievable series of events that was. I cannot believe the race that they just put on for us. I mean, that was just, I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Yeah, like you, I am equally as lost for words. I have nothing left in the tank. I am absolutely done.
Well, wow. I mean, again, Stefanko takes the win with Polesny and Hlebets joining him on the podium. But the real question is, Hlebets does pick up fastest lap, though. That is very well deserved. Oh, yep. Smidl only drops to 6th. So he should still be leading the championship by just 1 point. Carl Bashko, shout out, in 5th position after Michael Smidl's penalty. Huge result for him. Thomas Prohaska in 8th position, a great race for him as well. But that is absolutely incredible stuff. Nope, I've messed up my maths entirely on that one, so I apologize. Smidl does still lead the way, but it is only 15 points between himself and Stefanko now in the championship. Is that the motivation that Stefanko needs, Chris?
Yeah, and we changed car after this round as well, so that could really shuffle the grid again. But oh wow, Acer now nearly 40 points clear up top against Benzina. Logitech still on the coattails of Benzina as well, but Predator, that's going to hurt their chances as well of climbing up the ladder. It's a big gap for them to have to overcome.
Yep, that is going to do it for the Mercedes-Benz Virtual GP from Okayama, and indeed, that's it for the 190E, as round 9, the drivers will be swapping to the single-seater Formula car. Thanks so much for joining us. For myself, Chris Buxton, and the entire VGP team, thanks so much for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.